Welcome back to The Explainer. Today, we're diving straight into a massive paradigm shift about wealth, guilt, and the pursuit of money. We'll be looking at an incredibly powerful essay by a writer named Salima, unpacking the silent, kind of heavy shame we carry when we admit we want to be rich. Look, if you've ever felt weird, guilty, or just conflicted about wanting financial success, this is absolutely for you. We're going to completely redefine what wealth actually means and discover how money, when viewed through the right lens, is way less about luxury and entirely about human dignity. So let's jump in. So, why exactly are we so ashamed of wanting money? It's this wild contradiction so many of us live in every single day. We chase it, we literally need it to survive, and yet, at the exact same time, we judge the desire for it, both in ourselves and in everyone else around us. We're going to start by exploring this deep internalized guilt. You know that feeling of being too materialistic that creeps up the second we dare to say out loud, hey, I actually want financial wealth? Yeah, that feeling. Which brings us to section 1, the money taboo. Let's unpack that shame. Salima shares a super personal experience in her essay. She talks about hearing these negative, almost weaponized phrases from people she loved, judging someone as being crazy about money or being too focused on finances. And what happens when we hear this from the people closest to us? Well, we internalize it. Salima explains how she just went quiet. She avoided the conversation entirely, disconnecting from a topic that, whether we like it or not, completely dictates the quality of our everyday lives. Because think about it. If you don't talk about what you want, you don't pay attention to it. And if you aren't paying attention to it, how on earth are you ever going to achieve it? Section 2, the lie we were handed. Let's look at society's contradiction here. See, society pushes this idea that wealth equals stuff. The luxury car, the designer bag, the massive house. But chasing those symbols, it rarely leaves anyone feeling genuinely wealthy. The real true definition of wealth is freedom, options, and peace of mind. When we're out here chasing material things while deep down we're actually craving that feeling of freedom, the massive gap between expectation and reality breeds this quiet, heavy shame. It's like we're exhausting ourselves climbing a ladder that's literally leaning against the wrong wall. Salima actually mentions reading a book called Millionaire Fastlane by DeMarco, and there's this one specific idea that just cracked everything open for her. It goes, money doesn't buy happiness when it's misused, but used properly, money buys freedom, and freedom is one parcel in the wealth trinity. Reading that totally shifted the narrative for her, moving it from this idea of shallow greed to a grounded, honest pursuit of freedom. Because if money buys freedom, well, wanting money isn't shallow at all, is it? It's arguably one of the most fundamentally human desires out there. Moving on to section 3, a tale of two mothers. Let's ground this in reality. In her essay, Salima introduces us to two women from her home country. Both are mothers, both have children with severe mental and physical disabilities, and most importantly, both of these women love their children with absolutely everything they have. Their love is identical, their devotion is identical, but their daily realities, they are completely worlds apart. Let's look at the reality for Mother 1, a relative of the author. She spent over 20 years as the sole caregiver for her child. That means zero breaks, no backup, no relief. Salima actually notes that at family gatherings, this mother was never fully present. She was constantly watching the clock, calculating exactly how many minutes she had before she needed to rush back to her caregiving duties. Her life was defined by pure, unconditional devotion, sure, but also by this quiet, unrelenting exhaustion that just seeped right into her bones. Decades passed with her giving every single ounce of her energy just to keep her child safe. But then we look at Mother 2, a woman named Amu. Amu had financial means, and because she had money, she was able to hire round-the-clock care for her son. Now, this didn't mean she abandoned him, it just meant she had real, tangible support. She was actually able to travel. She could leave the country for months at a time. She literally had the space to breathe, to rest, and to just exist as an individual human being outside of that really intense caregiving role. When you put these two realities right next to each other, the contrast is just staggering. What actually separated that relentless, bone-deep exhaustion from having the space to breathe? Well, it wasn't who was the better mother. It wasn't about their character, their work ethic, or the depths of their love. The only difference between sheer exhaustion and having room to breathe was their access to options. It was, quite simply, the freedom that money creates. This brings us to section 4, love versus capacity. How money actually creates capacity.
And this realization leads to three incredibly profound points. First, money doesn't replace love, but it absolutely protects it. Second, money doesn't magically buy peace of mind, but it does create the exact conditions you need for it. And third, money doesn't make you who you are, but it does give you the space to be more of who you are. The author makes this crystal clear. Lacking money doesn't take away your ability to love, not at all. But lacking money absolutely takes away your rest, your relief, and your ability to choose. Money radically, fundamentally changes your daily capacity to cope and provide.
Section 5. What money really buys. It's time to redefine wealth. If we strip away all that societal baggage we talked about earlier, we arrive at a completely new definition. Wealth is not just digits in a bank account. It's not a shiny status symbol you buy just to perform for others. Wealth is time, having more of it and actually getting to choose exactly how you spend it. Wealth is support, so you aren't carrying the weight of the entire world on your own shoulders. Wealth is access to healthcare, to rest, to new opportunities. And ultimately, wealth is peace of mind, the kind of peace that makes you a more patient partner, a more present parent, and honestly, just a better, more energized version of yourself. When you finally let go of the shame around all this, you realize that wanting money is rarely about greed. It's really about securing dignity. It's about wanting to stop constantly running out of time. It's about getting real support so you can actually thrive, instead of just surviving day to day. It's about having the sheer power to make choices, owning your yes and your no. It's about securing dignity for yourself and the people you love, doing it out loud and doing it without apology. To wrap this up, Salima leaves us with a brilliant little shift in perspective. Instead of looking at a purchase or maybe a career move and asking, is this going to make me look successful? She asks a much more provocative question. Does this give me more freedom? Because the ultimate goal, it's never the money itself. The goal is what the money makes possible. If you've ever felt conflicted about wanting wealth, I highly encourage you to sit with that question. Are you just chasing symbols? Or are you actually building the capacity to protect the things you love? Thanks for joining me on this explainer. I really hope this completely changes how you view your own pursuit of freedom.